bear with me. Really glad to see everyone. There's lots of new faces out here, and I hope everyone's as excited as this officer team up here to get started and have our very first in-person meeting. A couple things that we got to remember while we're here is to make sure that we're social distancing as best as we can and we keep our masks up and just follow guidelines and everything because we want to be able to return and have these meetings in person again. I know especially I do. I love coming here and seeing everyone, and it just makes it that much better. So if we could just all follow those guidelines and everything, make sure there's hand sanitizer out at different stations and stuff like that. So if you feel the need to use that, go ahead and yeah. So we're gonna go through an officer introduction. So I've been an officer for 8 years now, actually. This is my 9th year in 4-H. First year as president, though, and I'm a junior at Indian Creek High School.
Hi, my name is Lizzie. I'm your vice president. I've been an officer for 7 years. This will be my 8th year. I am homeschooled and a sophomore.
I'm Desi Freeman, and this is my 3rd year being an officer, 5th year being in 4-H, and I go to Trenton Central.
My name is Cheyenne Freeman, and I am your recreation officer. This is my 1st year being an officer and my 2nd year being in 4-H. And I go to Triton Elementary.
Hi, I'm Abby. This is my 7th year in 4-H. I've been an officer for 5 years, I want to say, 5 or 6. I'm a freshman at Indiana Ag and Tech. I am this year's treasurer. It is my 7th year at 4-H. I've been an officer for 5 years, and I'm in your health and safety position. I am a freshman at IATS.
Hi, my name is Zoe Hawkins, and I am your secretary. I have been an officer for 2 years, and this is my 7th year at Horse and Pony. I'm a junior at Franklin Community High School.
So we're going to go ahead and do our American and 4-H pledges. So if everyone could please stand and remove your hats.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I pledge my head to clear.
My heart to greater loyalty, my hands to larger service, and my health to better living, for my club, my community, my country, and my world.
Okay, now that we've had a little fun, hope everyone had fun in that mixer. I know I did. Stephanie's going to go over our leader report.
Welcome. If I hadn't met you, I'm Stephanie Dunn. I'm one of the 4-H leaders for the club. I'm the one that will usually be getting most of the emails, communication Alright, so welcome, like I was saying earlier, I was looking at my calendar, and it's almost exactly a year. It'll be a year tomorrow since our last in-person meeting, so welcome back, we're very excited to be here. I know I'm excited to have you here instead of trying to fight with my computer and make a video to send out. Just a few things to go over from the leaders. Like Kaya said, if you saw the QR code, make sure you scan that and sign in for the attendance tonight. We actually borrowed that idea from another 4-H club. Normally, if you're new, we have a laptop up there and you just sign in. But we're trying the QR code this time and probably next month in an effort so we're not all touching the same thing. If you do not pick one up, this is the club newsletter for March. It has all the important information on it. They're over there on the front table, so you might want to make sure that you pick one up before you leave tonight, so you have all the dates and information that you need to know. On there, the big two things that I want to talk about are flower sales and the tax swap. The first one is flower sales. You should have gotten an email from me, and I know it's been on Facebook. We're doing the online order form again this year for flower sales. Those are due by the 15th, which is coming up really soon, March 15th. So you might want to share that again with people that you know are going to buy from you and make sure they get those in. That form will turn off at midnight on the 15th, and you won't be able to put any more orders in. That is a little bit earlier. We've had it in the past, but because of some weather issues, the grower wanted it earlier this year so he can try and make sure there's no issues with getting all of our flowers in. Payment will be due like last year when you come pick them up. So make sure if you have individual people that are buying and they're coming to get their stuff, make sure they know to bring the payment. Some 4-H families prefer to just collect for everybody they sold to. If you know that you only sold for a couple people and work out payment that way, it's up to you. The system should send them like a confirmation that the order went through. And before pickup, I will also be emailing all of them like last year and telling them the total that they owe. That way they know what they owe, either you or the club. The next thing to talk about is the tax swap. We did postpone that. Normally it would have been a couple weeks ago, but we postponed it this year because of COVID. So that will be April 10th. It'll be in the livestock pavilion over here on the other side of the fairgrounds from noon to 3 p.m. And if you have not let me know that you want a booth, you need to let me know before you leave tonight. As of this afternoon, I only have 3 of the spots not filled. So we can always start a waiting list if we need to. Some people, will cancel last minute. We can shift you off the waiting list, but they are full, so we have almost all 40 of the spots reserved, which is really good. So if you're not selling, come shop that day and buy some new tack for the year. One thing the Extension Office wanted me to talk to you about, I know there's a couple of you that are just doing a horse poster to exhibit at the fair instead of showing a horse, and they wanted me to clarify, if you are the order, if you're showing a horse and doing a horse and pony poster, you need to make sure when you sign up in your projects that you sign up for the animal poster. So you'll sign up for horse and pony to show the horse, and then you'll sign up for animal poster to do the horse poster and turn it at the fair. And they just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that that was 2 separate things to do. We are doing some county fundraisers. Hopefully you've seen the information from the Extension Office about geranium sales. So we just want to clarify that that is separate from our flower sales. Sometimes people get those 2 confused. The geranium orders are due with the money to the Extension Office. The deadline's in April, but if I'm being honest, I would say get them in sooner rather than later. They only have a set number of plants, and last year they ran out. Lots of people waited till the day they were due to turn them in, and they did not get their orders filled, and they were not very happy. So if you want to make sure that you get your geraniums, like I've already turned mine in, I know. I would turn it in as soon as possible to make sure you get your order. We do have the green handbook, so you can hold up that handbook right there. If you did not go through the drive-through that the Extension Office had in January, we do have handbooks over on the front table to pick up tonight. I highly recommend picking that up. That has everything for every project that you will need to know. Just a reminder that hopefully you've all signed up and you're active for 4-H. That was due by January 15th. The next major deadline that you need to know is May 15th. That's when your horse has to be enrolled online and any other projects that you might be doing need to be in as well. I did find out from the extension office that that's changing a little bit this year. So if you're new, this might not make sense what I'm about to say. In the past, you only had to turn pictures in online if you're going to state fair. The state printing office has changed that this year. Everybody's required to put pictures in no matter what. That will help because sometimes people don't put pictures in and then they try and go to state fair and show and they're not allowed because you have to have those pictures in for state fair. This year, you have to have your pictures in for county fair or state fair. So it'll be much easier, there won't be any problems if you go up to state fair and show because everything will already be done by that deadline. If you had pictures in from last year, they're not sure that they will still be in there because, was that your question? Because of the new system, the 2.0, so I recommend getting pictures again and submitting them again just in case. There's a lot of kinks still with the new system that they haven't worked out yet, unfortunately, and so they're not sure. So they're recommending everything, start with a clean slate, upload those pictures. About the vaccination form, I think I put in an email, they're not going to require that be uploaded by May 15th, but it is an option. So when you're signing up the horse, you have the option to click and upload that file, the vaccination form, if you scan it in. Or you can still bring me a paper copy before the first time when the horse is on the grounds. They didn't want to put that financial burden right away and say everyone has to get them done and online by May 15th, because that's kind of a burden for some families financially. That's a burden for the vets who are already in their busy season this time of year to try and get all those vaccinations done. But we do have to have it either online by May 15th or bring it to me the first time you bring a horse to a clinic or a practice show or the fair. Speaking of the vaccination form, there should be one in your brown paper sack that you either picked up at the drive-thru or is over on a table tonight. That vaccination form has changed a little bit this year, so just so you make a note, West Nile used to be just a recommended vaccination. It is now a required vaccination. So they didn't take it away, it's still like the 5-way and the rabies shot, and now they've added West Nile to it. The second change to that form is before it just had to be the person's name that administered the shot. Now it has to be the vet's signature. So you can still do the 5-way at home by yourself, but the state of Indiana law requires that a vet give the rabies shot, so a lot of people just like to have the vet do them all. That's your choice, but whoever the administrator is, whether it's mom or dad or the vet, has to sign that form. Okay, so those are two of the major changes with the vaccination form. Oh, just a reminder, I sent this out in a couple of the videos we had, but we do have all of our award nomination forms are active and online, so starting tonight, you can start nominating people for Most Improved or Sportsmanship or the Spirit of 4-H Award, and those are all due by the last day of fair. I think that's all I have. That's kind of a rundown. A lot of it is just repeat information, but if you have any questions about any of that, you can find one of the leaders after the meeting. Would be more than happy to help. I know Art wants to talk about a few things, so I'm going to invite him up.
You didn't get to do any work over here at the facility at all, so this year we're gonna have to really make up for it. We need put some lime in the stalls, and the one small arena, we planned on making it bigger, so I need your help. If you would, I'll have Stephanie put it on when we're going to do it. So you kids tell your parents when you see it. If you would, please come and help. Thank you.
So I'll have that out to you by the end of the week on our first date. So right now we're going to do an activity. We were really lucky and Johnson County, there's a big RMC grant that gave a lot of 4-H clubs some STEM activities to do, and our club was one of them that got picked. So for our activity tonight, there's 4 stations, and we won't spend long, maybe 5 or 6 minutes at each one. But the extension office wanted us to try all of our new things out and hopefully spark a science interest in some of you. And then they have a huge whole list of things that we can borrow. So if any of this sparks your interest, we can bring this or other things back at future meetings. So I'm just going to talk to you quickly about what they are, and then we'll get started. So the first one, against this back wall, they're like little straw builders. So basically you make a 3D thing. There's straws.
What I want to talk about is kind of all the framework and the structure that goes into 4-H and why we have to do some of the things we do. Just to have this meeting tonight, we had to fill out a safety plan, which had to be submitted to our extension office, who then had to submit it to Purdue to be approved. And so, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, but we are doing our best. And I will apologize for all the times that I say because of COVID, because I think we've been dealing with that for a year, but hopefully, we're getting through that, and we don't know what the new normal will look like, but there will be one. I don't know if we'll ever go back to the way things were, but we will do our best. My name is Becky Dixon. I have been a 4-H leader for a long time. I think this might be my 40th year as a leader, I'm not sure. So, been involved with the program for a long time. Stephanie's my daughter. Had 2 daughters that have been through 10 years of 4-H and have really reaped the benefits of it. So start off by saying there's just a lot more that goes on with 4-H than our horse and pony club. So I encourage you will get emails about a lot of stuff. If you get an email that says 4-H online, that is from the extension office. And those are additional things like fundraisers and trips and scholarships. And then Stephanie sends out lots of times she'll resend that as well as stuff that goes on within our horse and pony club. And then there's our club, which is a countywide club. There's lots of clubs throughout the county that might specifically work with just a small group of kids from that school corporation or area, but we're a county club. Then there's the county extension office, which is an arm of Purdue. Each county has an extension office that works with the 4-H. And then Purdue is Indiana's Land Grant College, and they're part of the funding and really the major guide of the 4-H programs in the state. In addition to that, we have our fair board, which is made up of a group of 4 very dedicated volunteers that put on the county fair last year. Last year it was a struggle, but we got to have a county fair and a lot of other counties did not. So we consider ourselves very fortunate to have been able to offer that experience for our kids. And then the fair board reports to the county commissioners who help with the funding and so forth and so on. So it's a real network that goes into putting on a county fair. I wanted to talk about a little bit more about this. If you do not have this, there are some over on the table, and this will really guide you through your 4-H year. All of the 4-H leaders are in here for all of the different clubs. All the 4-H rules, the schedule of turn-in projects for the fair, and there is a section for every project that is offered, and it will talk about the deadlines for that, requirements for exhibiting, and trying to find horse and pony, and you would think I would put right to that. But, so anyway, just, make yourself familiar with this book, and the back of the book, or it's in there, in the front, are schedules for all the projects that are turned in during Fair Week. The project turn-in goes on the Monday through Friday before our meeting, and the projects are here, and McGill, and Herring, and Fitzpatrick. So just familiarize yourself with this book, and also, as
do you have one of these? Okay, these are the state rules for Indiana 4-H. And in here you will find the requirements for every class that is offered at the state fair, which we in turn follow this when we make our county fair schedule. What is allowed as far as attire, what is required and what is prohibited, and also the same for all of your infant and under saddle classes. What kind of bits are acceptable, what kind of dress is acceptable. So this is also online. So if you don't have one of these handbooks, I would say, are provided free to every 4-H'er by all these sponsors that you see. These cost our county to get, so we try to just limit this to one per family. But if you don't have one, you can look it up online also. But it's an important little book to have, especially if you have a question about, well, if I sign up for this class, what am I going to have to do? And this book will tell you that. So those are the two important books. Let's see. And we talked about emails. There are all kinds of ways, and Stephanie has talked about this many times. Ways to stay connected, ways to stay informed. Please, read those emails. If they don't, there's a lot to take in, especially as a first year leader, or if you have younger kids in the program. There's a lot of information that we feed out over the course of the year. So just try to read those emails, and if you don't have a question, all of our numbers are in this book. So no such thing as a dumb question. That's why I'm here. If you want to sign up, Stephanie also has a reminder service. If you want tonight to send out a text, give her your phone number and she will put you on the list, so you'll get a text the day of. And as much as you can, make this a family event. It's a real good way to spend some quality time with your kids, either in the barn or at shows. My girls and I spent many hours in the barn when they were in 4-H and had a lot of good conversations while we were brushing out tables. So and when you're in the barn, you don't have the distractions that you sometimes have at home or at a show or something. So it's just a good way. There are, as Art was saying, there are always ways to get involved. Either we can horse shows, or interview in the fair. And the fair, we need gate people to let people in and out of the gate before and after the classes. There's always, I'm kind of I'm the head gardener, so I always need help at the arena with sprucing up the grounds a little bit. There's always something to do. It's hopefully, we talk about there's always work to do, but hopefully we'll have a little more fun this year. We couldn't do a lot of things last year. I'm not going to say why, because you know why. But we'll try hopefully to get back to more of the fun activities this year. Please, 4-H has a lot to offer, not only our awards, but there are county scholarships will become important to you later on. There are trips that are going to start happening. They have 4-H camp. I think that's kind of iffy, but that's a great experience for younger kids. Trying to listen to see where they're at. And this is pretty early in the game, but does anybody have any questions about what has been expected of you so far? Yes, ma'am.
Where are we going to sign up these horses?
You will do that online at the state website.
On the state?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll go to 4-H online
Yeah.
and then add your projects in.
And
There will be emails sent out later on, and it usually gives you like step-by-step instructions with screenshots and stuff like that.
that'll come from the extension office and probably Stephanie both. So, yeah.
So is it possible we've already done that and don't know it?
No, I wouldn't think so.
Okay.
No. Because you have to include a photo this year. So that's really important. And that came about because, when you're signing your horse up, you might not know if you care about going to state fair or not. And then you get to that time and you have not sent your picture. And then you don't get to show. So that's fine. That might be one of the reasons why. But every horse has to have a photo submitted. Yes, Nancy?
I know it's a new system, screenshotted one daughter's photos and had to change something and had to delete some photos and didn't realize it deleted the other daughter's photos. So if you have more than one horse, just make sure before the deadline that you go back and that you check both. Because my daughter was really mad at me that year.
That's true because, and this is a new system, so it might have some bugs in it. So I would say be sure and double check.
So check out your animals.
Don't just click submit and assume that everything went perfectly fine. So, anybody have? I don't know if Stephanie did she talk about the clinics? You know, we usually start having clinics this year. We're going to try to have one once a week, and we'll have a clinician come in and kids can bring their horses and just try to practice a little bit of every venue. Showmanship, horsemanship, English, trail, contesting. Try to touch on everything we can. Our clinicians that we bring in are really, really good.